Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the You Look Happier podcast. My name is Ellie Forsyth and I am a life coach and a counsellor, and I am joined today by the lovely Aimee. Hello, Aimee.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Sick.
That's normal. The thing about coming onto a podcast, and we've spoken about this, I've spoken about this with all, actually, of my other guests, I needed my own pep talk.
Yeah.
It is scary. There's mics, there's lights, there's a camera, but all I want you to think of is it's just me and you having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for you to share your journey.
Thank you.
So, first question then. For the listeners, could you explain to the listeners a little bit about you?
Yeah, I'll keep this bit brief, but I'm a mum of two. I've got a 5-year-old girl and a 16-month-old today boy.
Oh,
yeah, 16 months today. I know. Well, it's not really a thing, is it? Like 16 months, but
it's still.
It's a thing. It sounds so much older than 15 months. He's 16 months today, and I'm now a certified child sleep consultant, but I specialise with babies and toddlers.
Wow. Okay. So a certified child sleep consultant. Have I got that right?
Yeah. I mean, I always have a baby sleep consultant, but it's like I'm covered till like 8, basically, but I specialise in babies and toddlers.
Wow. How did you get into that? What inspired you? Tell me about your journey.
So it's quite a long and convoluted journey. I'll start with it in short, and then we can sort of move forward with it. But basically, 5 years ago, I had my daughter, I had Robin, and was just sort of thrust into this new world of motherhood and was having a really bad time. She didn't come out like this blissful, chilled baby, and she was beside herself pretty much all the time. She had, at the time, undiagnosed silent reflux. So she was in a lot of pain and really, really, really uncomfortable all the time. I couldn't get any help from the doctors. They just get really fobbed off in the early days. They'll tell you it's colic, which grinds my gears. Colic just means undiagnosable crying, basically, for 3 hours or more. It's ridiculous. So they just say, oh, it's colic, and they'll grow out of it and it's fine. And I was just sort of left to deal with it. And as a result of being so uncomfortable, she didn't sleep. So when she was awake, she was screaming, and she was awake all the time. Like, she barely slept. She survived on like little micro sleeps. So in sort of new motherhood anyway, you are so fragile and so vulnerable. But if you throw in extreme sleep deprivation with a baby that doesn't stop screaming, the wheels come off. So they came off for me quite quickly. I was diagnosed with postnatal depression. I was in denial about it for quite a while. Yeah. And I would just say, oh, well, no, I haven't got postnatal depression, because when she's happy, I'm happy. And that wasn't, it's not fair on her. Like, she's an unregulated, like a dysregulated newborn. Like, she shouldn't be responsible for her 27-year-old mum at the time. And my emotions, basically. And I was really struggling. I was having very intense intrusive thoughts. And it was just a really, really, really scary time, basically. I was later diagnosed with PTSD, which I still struggle with today. And yeah, that sort of led me to become obsessed with sleep, because every new mom is obsessed with sleep. And the lack of that I was having. But basically, this is when everything changed for me when I booked with a baby sleep consultant. So I booked with a really well-known one. And I mean, that came about really organically as well, because I followed, she was doing, I do Q&As and stuff. Yeah. People ask me anything. She was doing one of them. And somebody had written into her about, why won't my baby take a bottle? And at this point, Robin was on a bottle strike because I was breastfeeding, and she hadn't been on a bottle since like 9 weeks old, and she was about 14 weeks old at this point. Right. And I just thought, oh, she'll get back on it. It'll be fine. But this consultant was like, if you don't get them on it by 6 months, they'll never take a bottle. And I was like, oh my God, like we're not far away from that. So I messaged her and sort of asked for a bit of advice, and she came back to me. And then I just sort of opened the floodgates and asked her about 4,000 things. And she was like, you need professional help, basically. So I then booked on with that and got that help. And to be fair, it was transformative. It completely changed everything for us. And I was able to get a version of motherhood that was manageable because I was able to sleep at this point. Now, it wasn't an easy journey. It was hard, and I learned a lot of what not to do from that experience, or how I would like to do it differently, because it's no shade to her. She's just in her lane and I'm in mine, and they're very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what led me to do this. I realised how transformative sleep can be, and I then became that person for everybody. Like, I was obsessed with it. Like, I loved it. I found it like so interesting. And for years, I just followed all these sleep consultants, and I was reading all these books, and I just really like lit a passion up. And I was that person that people were texting all the time. And I'm massive at, like, I really care about mum's mental health, basically. It's like I said to you earlier, I said, if I see a new mum or someone's had a baby, I will message them, like, are you okay? Like, how are you doing? Because I know how hard that bit is. So yeah, I think me understanding how transformative good sleep can be, mixed with like the severity of the mental health issues I've struggled with combined, have led me to go on this journey, because I just want to be the person that I needed back then, basically. And I've now gone and got the tools that I can do that for people, like, properly, rather than unofficially just helping people now, which actually I had no business doing, because I was probably giving them terrible advice, because I was just following somebody else's carbon copy. I didn't have the understanding.
Aimee.
But now I have got that, so I've got the skills, and I'm able to go and do what I wanted to do now. Yeah.
With the journey that you were experiencing, so before you found out about the sleep consultant, did you know that other people would have been struggling with what you were going through? Did you have any idea?
No, I didn't. And I think this is really common with new mums, is that you are told, it's a really aggressive narrative that gets like shoved down your throat, to enjoy every minute. Enjoy every minute. It's precious. Like, every moment, all of this. And so you're like, I was in hell. Like, I was having a really bad time. But I was like, well, I can't tell somebody this, because I got that stressed about it, that I was like, if someone knows how I'm feeling, or if somebody knows what I'm thinking, and as I said, I was having really bad intrusive thoughts, I convinced myself she'd be taken off me. I literally like thought, if somebody knows, I'm exposed, and she's going to be taken off me. Like, that's where my brain went to. So no, I didn't think that other people would understand, and I didn't think that it was normal. I thought like there was something fundamentally wrong with me. And that was really hard to accept, because I wanted to be a mum my whole life, and then it was here, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm in actual hell. And I wasn't just sad, I was angry. I was very angry. I had postnatal rage, and it's really hard to tell people you're angry. I think I tried to once with a friend who, very well meaning, I'd said I was really angry, and they went, "What, a baby?" And I was like, I think in that moment I just tense. I was like, "Nah, you've almost showed your hand there, but close call." Do you know what I mean? Like, don't tell anyone. And yeah, it was really bad, and it was. So, but 5 years ago, Instagram obviously was a thing, very much so, but it wasn't like now. People are a lot more honest, and you do see a hell of a lot more. It's like more reels and stuff now, so you like see videos and stuff. Whereas before, I was just seeing like everyone else have this pitch perfect life. They had their babies and looked like they had this sort of newborn heaven, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing that's so wrong?" I internalized the whole thing as, "This is me. I'm the failure. Like, I'm letting everyone down. You're shit," basically, and it was absolutely gut-wrenching. It was horrible. So I lied, basically. I let everyone think I was okay, which is odd, because I'm a very open book, and anyone that knows me knows I'm actually a massive oversharer. But yeah, I just shut down, but was trying to tell the world that I'm okay and everything's fine. but I was not fine. I was really not okay. Really not okay. So yeah.
The journey which you're explaining to me here with Robin sounds as though the impact that it was having on you was one thing, but you actually having a release to be able to say,
yeah,
this is what is going on for me right now. It sounds as though there was fear there for you as well, Aimee, thinking, I can't share this with other people.
Absolutely petrified. I really was. And I was scared of how I felt anyway. So I was scared of how I was feeling. I thought, I genuinely believe she'd be taken off me. And I thought, this is just not safe. I just felt so unsafe to tell anyone. And I felt so attacked. And I think this is really common with new mums as well. And I have this conversation with people a lot. If someone says to me, the mum was being a bit sensitive, or like she was getting a bit irritated with me or something for like making a suggestion, I just say she's probably having a hard time. Because
you've been
I
there.
get it.
Yeah.
Because people have the best of intentions and they're like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And they're being really kind. But when you're as vulnerable and not in the right mind as I was, you take that as you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. And because you believe already you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing, and you feel like you've been exposed, you feel like everyone can see you for the imposter that you are, and that you are shit at what you've done, or what you're doing. So I just felt so attacked by absolutely everything. But then I was trying so hard to be like, I don't know, like I wanted everyone to think that I'd taken to it really well, do you know? I don't know why. It's odd really, but that was the pressure I was putting on myself. And I think it's the pressure that the world puts on mums, to be fair. The mental load is just like something you just can't really explain it. But the world, puts a hell of a lot of pressure on mums. And I just felt like I've got to pretend I'm fine. Women have been having babies since the dawn of time. Like, what is your problem? Like, get over yourself. I was really scared, in short. I'm never going to say in short again, because these are all really long-winded answers.
They're good though. They're really helpful, and it gives a true insight into how you were feeling. You're putting pressure on yourself. You're blaming yourself. Yeah. These intrusive thoughts that you were having, tell me about that, Aimee.
Oh, they were really scary. So, and I think everybody gets intrusive thoughts to a degree, and I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But I think now and this is through therapy and through all sorts, but I think now it's your brain's way of protecting your child, because it might be something as simple as I'd picture spilling a cup of tea on her, and then it might be something like that. So that's probably my brain being like, okay, don't have your tea near the baby. But unfortunately, when you're sleep deprived and not in your right mind, when you have other intrusive thoughts, I was believing them. So Tom would come home from work and I would be like, she's going to die because I've shaken her. I've shaken her and she's going to die because I'm a terrible mum and I'm awful. So let's say goodbye. And he'd be like, what the fuck? You haven't shaken her, Aimee. You haven't. And I knew deep down I hadn't shaken her, but I'd had the thought. So like the line was so blurred for me between what was real and what wasn't at that point. And I was tired to my bones. Like I didn't know sleep deprivation like that existed. It's used as torture for a reason. Like it's actual torture. I was convinced I'd shaken her. I would have they were always really graphic and quite violent as well. Or like, just really like I fall down the stairs. Or I'd have like ones where I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to slip in the shower and die, and then she's just going to be left in a cot all day, and no one's going to be there to look after her, and Tom's going to come home. Do you know what I mean? It would spiral, like, and I'd run away with it, and it was really difficult to deal with. But it was the therapist I worked with at the time. She was incredible, and it's the best bit of advice I've ever had, and it sounds so obvious. Don't believe everything you think. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, oh, okay, right.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Because I'd been telling myself my whole life, like, you shit. Like, I've had a real negative bias my whole life. So I think that was when I started to be like, oh, okay, you need to challenge that thought. And she was like, don't believe it. Just because it comes into your brain, it doesn't matter. And then she also did a poll for me internally. So because I had the word that kept coming out was monster in therapy. Right. I kept being like, I'm a fucking monster. Like there's something wrong with me. And she sort of was like, I'm going to prove to you that you're not. So she did a poll with her colleagues who are all mums, 99% of them, it would have been like, I don't know, 10 people or whatever, but 99% of them all admitted to having like violent, intrusive thoughts and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, so mums get this quite a lot then. And then, I mean, now obviously I talk about everything really openly, but if you speak to one of the mums and say, oh, I've had that thought, they go, oh, yeah, me too. And it's like, I was so scared of it, but everyone was having that. Everyone gets, to a degree, intrusive thoughts, and now it's like, I'm not ashamed of them. I don't think there's something fundamentally wrong with me. But at the time, obviously, I was really scared. I thought there was something wrong with me, like I was genuinely like a psychopath or something. So
I can't even begin to imagine what you were going through at that time. It sounds as though there's a bit of a pattern there with how your brain was working as well. Fear, but also the element of control.
Yeah.
So, and I say this all the time, I never mean control as in like I'm controlling. We like control, it keeps us safe. Yeah. You're also a new mom trying to keep your new baby safe. So these intrusive thoughts that you're sharing with me, I'm scared I'm going to fall down the stairs. I'm scared I'm going to slip in the shower and she's then going to, she's going to be left on her own. I may spill a cup of tea and it might hurt her. It's the fear of losing control.
Yeah.
You can't control whether you, other than putting a bath mat down, whether you slip in the shower.
Yeah.
Fear and control were battling with each other by the sounds of things for Aimee there.
Big time.
And I would agree with you. I get intrusive thoughts all the time.
Yeah.
All of the time. I'll be driving and
picture a car crashing into you or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
And there will also be intrusive thoughts there are different types of them. So there is intrusive thoughts that we have something happen to us, car coming in front of us, tree coming down.
Yeah.
That is a fear of losing control, but also mixed in with anxiety. Because anxiety is the what if of a situation.
Yeah.
What if that car comes out and slams into me?
Yeah.
What am I going to do then? So you're battling here with your sleep deprivation. On average, like, what are we talking here? How much sleep were you getting a day?
Honestly, I'd be lucky if I got 20 minutes some nights. Like, I'm not joking. Like, she needed to be on me at all times, which to be fair, I'd have taken. Like, I'd have been, if she slept, and I co-slept with Blake for the first like 6-7 weeks.
So there's your little boy.
My little boy.
Yeah.
But I said, like, that's fine. Like, he slept. So that worked for us. Whereas Robin, like, it wasn't really a choice. Like, she had to be on me upright. And I was feeding, so she would feed around the clock, basically. But I remember like, bouncing up and down on this birthing ball at all hours of the day because it was one of the only things that she liked. Like, we bounced on it until it popped, basically. We'd get up, we'd drive around at 3-4 a.m. We'd be driving around like the A45 trying to get her to sleep and doing everything within my power to get to sleep. But she would just scream. Like, she was just so upset, and my nervous system didn't know what had hit it, basically. I was so stressed about Tom as well. And this all comes in with the intrusive thoughts because at the time he was working in Milton Keynes. So the next day I was like, well, he's going to have to travel like 100 miles tomorrow, basically. And but he's going to die. He's going to die on the road because he's so fucking tired. So I was trying really hard to carry that and do it. But then, you turn on each other. Like, I was so angry at him as well, because you can't really be angry at a baby, so we're angry at each other, and it was just a horrible environment. Like, he, bless him, in solidarity would be like wanting to sit up and stay up with me, but I'd be like, just go to sleep, because if I could be asleep, I'd be asleep. But then if he was asleep, I'd look at him like, I fucking hate you. Yeah. I'm like, wake up, what are you doing? So he couldn't win, and I think that's something that's not spoken about a lot as well, for him to see what I've been through, continue to go through, and like, it's really hard. It's really challenging for him as well. So it affects everybody. It affects absolutely everybody. But I forgot the point of the question.
I think you've answered it.
Do this all the time.
You've shared some of the things which were impacted from what you were going through. So you're sharing you were diagnosed with postnatal depression.
Yeah.
But you didn't believe it at the time. Is that right?
Well, I was in denial about it for ages.
In denial, okay.
So I eventually was diagnosed with postnatal depression, but that was at like 6 months. But I was working with a sleep consultant for 4 months. So whilst the sleep made life manageable, I've still had depression, and the damage was sort of done. And I had post-traumatic stress with the biggest trigger being screaming.
Right.
So, which is unfortunate, as my son is a screamer. So that's not ideal. But that, yeah, I was diagnosed at about 6 months with that. But I think what happened, it sort of stepped up a notch because of COVID. So things started to get a bit better for us, obviously, because she started sleeping at about 4 months. And it was quick. Like, I was on a baby massage course, and for the first 3 weeks, I mean, I would pick her, she would just scream, and she was so distressed, and I'd just pick her up and run out of the room crying. Like, the teacher, which is so lovely, and she'd always be like, you don't need to do that. But I would be like, I just felt like everyone was looking at me. I was like, I can't, I've got to get out, I've got to get out. Like, it's fight or flight, isn't it? I was running. On the 4th week, she was really chill and was having a really nice time. And it's because I'd done the sleep. I'd worked on her sleep in that week. And I remember literally the mums were like, what the hell have you done to that baby? Like, she's so much happier.
Yeah.
And I said, we're sleeping. Like, and it was like transformative for me at the time, which I've said about 1,000 times, but it was. So life started to get better from there, but then COVID hit. So I think, God, yeah. So as my confidence slowly started to build, like, a really big thing for me was going to the supermarket, because that's something I lost the ability. With my postnatal depression, I just no longer trusted myself with anything. And that was really apparent on a food shop. So I was trying to do everything, like the cooking, the cleaning, as I said, the mental load's massive. I would go to Sainsbury's, and I remember literally just staring at the gravy aisle. I was looking at it. I was trying to do the maths in my head about what was better value and all the rest of it, working out the quantities versus the price. And she's there going mental in the pushchair, and people are staring at me, and I could feel that I'm about to have a panic attack, and it's happening. And I just lost the ability. I think I just left. We just left, like, a thing full of, a trolley full of food there, because I was like, I can't do this. Again, it's that flight. I would leave. But I was starting to, like, build up to doing those things, and then COVID hit. So it was like the rug was pulled from underneath me again. I finally got to this place where I was like, oh, it's manageable. And then the world shut down and everything was taken away. And my husband was working 5 days a week at this point. So still in the office.
Not at home?
He wasn't at home. He was never furloughed, and he worked in the office. So I was at home alone with the baby. And I think that's when the wheels came back off for my mental health. The sleep was still very much a thing. But whilst we were getting more sleep, I was still trying to control it. Like, if she had a bad nap or something, the all or nothing thinking was wild. I would literally be like, she had a shit nap, so this is going to happen, and it would just, the anxiety, like, I lived on a knife's edge all the time. So yeah, it's probably for the best I didn't go into being a sleep consultant back then, like I wanted to, because I didn't have, it was so all or nothing. I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing to project to people. Like, if you do X, Y will happen.
Yeah.
These mums don't need the fear of God put in them. They need to learn how to have the sleep infrastructure, but also live their life at the same time. And I wasn't living my life at the same time. I was, like, obsessed to the point that, like, I was so worried, because I was like, well, if she doesn't sleep, then I'm not going to sleep. And it really, really was so heightened. And it was COVID, so I was just home alone with that, and that's when. So yeah, mentally, I just felt I was suffocating. Like, I physically felt like I was suffocating and drowning. Like, they were the words that would come around in my head, and I'd be like, I feel like I'm literally, I can't breathe. It was so scary. But yeah, I think to any mum that went through mumming during COVID, like, it was just a really hard time. So yeah, that the wheels came off a little bit then, and then I think I felt like I'd been robbed of an experience, and that's like an ongoing theme in my life. I always feel like that. And yeah, so that was also quite triggering as well, really.
With the COVID thing, so COVID hit, you're starting, like, Robin's sleep's getting a little bit better, your sleep's getting a little bit better as a result of this. COVID hits, so you're not able to start building up your confidence, going out.
No.
With Robin, you know, that supermarket example you've just given sounds horrific for you.
Yeah.
And you're sharing, you felt as though it had been taken away. So there's that element of control again, not in a negative way, but just no one had control in COVID, did we?
No.
But you're thinking, flipping heck, I've been
through hell and back.
Yeah, now I want to be able to actually do it with my baby, but now I can't.
Yeah.
Earlier on, you mentioned about the sort of self-blame that you've always done.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this self-blame around this kind of time with Robin. Like, what was going on for you there?
I just internalized everything. I took it as a direct failure. It was everything. And I think mums do this. You take everything on. You put yourself at the bottom of the pile anyway. But I don't even know. I'm naturally, as I said, I've got a negative bias, and I'm really hard on myself anyway. Like, it's a really bad trait I've got that I try to work on. Every boss, every teacher, anyone I've ever had, it's like, Jesus Christ, you're your own worst enemy. So it's no surprise to me that that's what happened. But you've got nobody else to blame in that situation. As I said, you can't blame the baby. You can't blame anything. Like, I was like, well, it's me. I'm the problem. Look, at every other mum must be going through something like this, but look how they can handle it. Like, and it's comparison. Like, I was comparing myself to everybody else and the world around me. And yeah, people just be like, oh yeah, my kid had colic, and I'd be like, oh, they just seem so chill about it. And I was like, oh, it's just me then. Like, I'm the problem. So that was really, really hard to take on. But I have to fight with that now. I still have those thoughts. I still have all of that. All creeps in all the time. But now I'm in a place where I can be like, no, challenge the thought just because you think it's not real, etc. And move through it. But no, back then I couldn't. And I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to challenge those thoughts. The therapy was incredible, actually. She was really good. I've had a lot of therapy. 6 months. So I had her for 6 months, from 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was really, really good. I've had loads of therapy over my life. And she is probably one of my best therapists that I've had so far. And it was all on the phone. Never met her.
Wow.
Never met her. It was just
brilliant
at home. Yeah.
The thing with therapists and the thing with therapy is you've got to click with them. You absolutely have got to
tell me about it. I had one after Blake, and it was awful.
I've had therapists where I thought like, yeah, no. I've had some where I'm like, absolutely not.
No,
you have to get on with them. And it sounds as though you don't have to believe everything that you think was quite crucial for you to hear.
Big time.
Because when we don't control it, right, when we let our thoughts and the way in which we've always spoken to ourselves just take control, we think, oh, yeah, that's just us. You know, I'm not good enough. I'm going to blame myself for this, this and this because I've always done it. But you're sharing here, you learn, well, hang on a minute, Aimee, that's not the case. Like, you're not to blame.
Yeah.
And what we do when we start to take action is we actually look at those negative beliefs in like straight in the eye and go, not today.
Yeah.
You're not ruining my day today.
Yeah.
When did things start to change for you then? What?
Oh God. It's a hard one because, as I said, I still struggle with this. Like I still have PTSD, and I went through, which I've not really spoken about yet, but Blake was a carbon copy of Robin. So I basically went through the same thing twice. However, it was different because I was more equipped this time. Obviously, I had a different lens. I was an experienced mom, and Tom and I had spoken throughout pregnancy. That's the thing. I had really hard pregnancies. So it just felt like I couldn't catch a break. Do you know what I mean? It was just like shit on shit on shit. But we'd spoken during my pregnancy, and we're like, right, if the red flags start to show, this is what we'll do. So we kind of had a bit of a plan of attack. A bit the wheels still came off again. But yes, I still struggle to this day. I can still get really badly triggered with PTSD. As I said, my son is a screamer. I've had a really similar experience. However, the difference is it's not linear. Like, mental health isn't linear, sleep isn't linear, life isn't. It's up and down with so many different twists and turns. So I can't say when I actually started to be like, I feel better now, because there was so many ups and downs, and that's been a theme throughout my whole time as a mum. But I would say that therapy, the first step was getting the sleep.
Yeah,
that was massive. That therapist really helped, and I went back to work at the time, where I was working then. I went back okay-ish, and then life came at me fast. So I had really bad stress after that as well. I moved house. It was still COVID. There was a lot of change, a lot of things happening. So I'm always up and down. I think is the answer is that I'm always up and down. I'm kind of like that anyway. I feel things very deeply. Like I can't really control how I feel a lot of the time. So yeah, I don't know is the honest answer, because it's very up and down. But I'm now in a place where, you know, I was saying I wasn't in the right mind to challenge those thoughts before.
Yeah.
Now I do. And now I know it's a bad day, it's not a bad life. And I'm so honest about how I feel to everybody around me. And I said that in pregnancy this time, I was like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna say from the very minute how I feel and why. And I did. And I'm telling you now, every mom, if you say to another mom, I feel like shit, or my baby's driving me mad, or this has happened, X, Y, and Z, they'll say me too. And you'll get that back. So you're no longer in this just echo chamber of your own brain of
Can you only get
shit,
one?
because you're not. Everybody's in. It might not be the same degree of intensity, but they get it to a degree, because being a mom is hard. Even if you have an easy baby in quotes, it's hard because your life changes so much, and you're bottom of the pile, and your whole life now is about this little person. So it's still really difficult. But then if you throw in like a really hard time, fucking hell, like it's really hard. But now I've got a really good support network that I lean on, and I'm very honest about how I feel. It shocks people sometimes. I've been at Robin's ballet before, and I've called Blake a psychopath, and people have been like, "What?" And they've looked at me, and I don't mean it like as like he's a psychopath. It's just off the cuff. Like sometimes you just you've just got to like.
That's how you're coping, yeah.
And I've got a bit of an edge with regard to like what I find funny. So,
you always have to.
I always have. Me and my brothers are terrible. Like we've got our sense of humour is not the best. So, yeah, I just say things. I feel things very deeply, and I'm very honest about it now. So I'm in a much better place, but I still have those bad times. So it's a long and convoluted way to say I don't really know, up and down.
What I really respect about that answer, and you just as a person in general, is you are human. We spoke earlier on about, you know, just because you've took the education, you've trained yourself, you're now helping other people, it doesn't mean that life is absolutely perfect, because you have other humans involved that you need to be looking after. Same with me, the work that I do and the help that I give to people, just because I'm a counsellor or a coach, doesn't mean I don't have bad days.
Yeah, of course.
But it's okay to be sad. It's not okay to stay there if you can do something about it. I love that quote. Yeah, because sometimes we beat ourselves up when we're not. Oh my God, I should be happy. I should have everything worked out. No one has. No one has.
It's so true.
Talk to me about the PTSD and the screaming, Aimee. Like, what's been going on there?
It's really difficult. My son he's a screamer, like a major screamer, happy or sad. I prefer it when he's screaming happily, but he is his mother's son, so he feels things very deeply, and that's really hard because, I mean, he screamed like with Robin. I would literally be like, "Oh my God, people are looking at me," and I was really scared. And I don't really give a shit about that now. Like, we'll be in the pub or we'll be out and about in a coffee shop or something, and he'll be going mental, and I'm just sort of, I'm okay now. I can take that.
Good.
But the actual sound of the scream. So if he was hearing that happen, it literally like it does something to my brain. Right. Like I go into fight or flight. Sometimes I can manage it and it's okay, but if there's, for whatever reason, I'm not able to regulate myself in that moment. Who knew 99% of parenting would be regulating your own emotions, by the way? But that, it puts me in fight or flight, basically. And on a bad day, it's physical. Like, it starts usually with my jaw. Like, I will be like chewing at my gums or something like that, or my hands will start going funny. I feel hot, like literally, like it's like intense anger for me. And I think for me, anger and fear are the same thing. Like that's how it presents. So when I'm scared and out of control, like we were saying, I get angry. Like that's just like if you go into fight or flight, my body seems to go into fight. So that can look like throwing things around. It can look like screaming, shouting, crying. I will hyperventilate sometimes. yeah, all sorts can happen in that moment. It is quite scary and it's really distressing and it's horrible. Like, if I was to see somebody else having that level of breakdown that happens to me, my heart would break for them. It's really hard. That is something, but I didn't really take it seriously. When I was diagnosed with PTSD, I was just like, oh well, I'm not in a war. Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't take that seriously. I've only actually took that seriously since having Blake, because even though noises and stuff always triggered me before, Robin stopped screaming past a certain point, so I didn't have to deal with that trigger.
Yeah, it wasn't in your focus.
Yeah, I didn't have to deal with it. And then Blake came along, and it's a thing all the time. It's really hard to deal with, and unfortunately, I've been through it. Like, the last year, like, it's been really, really challenging. Like, he's the sweetest, loveliest little boy. Like, I'm obsessed with him, and I know I don't need to say that. Like, it goes without saying that I adore my kids, but it's really challenging. It's hard to deal with. That the PTSD side it's no joke. Yeah, it's the breakdowns are really bad.
When you got the diagnosis, did you get any support with this? Have you had any help to learn to manage it at all?
Not directly. So we worked on it. So in therapy, she said it to me. She was like, I think you've got post-traumatic stress, like, for what you're going through. And we worked on the stuff at the time. I can't really remember everything we worked on, but I left her feeling like a lot better. So I was like, everything's fine. But no, not since Blake. I went back to therapy with Blake, but the therapist, we just didn't gel. And she would put words in my mouth and say things that I didn't say, and I would come off every call feeling more pissed off and frustrated. So I just eventually lied to her. It sounds really bad, but I just was like, I can't deal with this. I was getting angry every single phone call. Yeah. And then since then, so I've been on a bit of a journey with it. I have been to hypnotherapy since then.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really helpful, actually, because it helped me to identify, which I won't actually go into because it affects other people, but there's a reason that screaming specifically triggers me. Wow, okay. Which she helped to uncover that for me. Okay. But we found that, so I thought, oh great, like, I found that now, and we've worked on some stuff and blah blah blah. Because I've been to hypnotherapy before, and it was really good, and really helped me through like a particularly crap moment in my life. But yeah, unfortunately, I was able to identify it, but I still can't stop my body responding in the way that it does. Mm-hmm. I try, and I use loop earplugs, and I will walk away. So I try now to just really communicate what I need from Tom or whoever's there in that situation, and I let them help. Rather than feel attacked or feel like someone's like trying to, I don't know, like prove that I'm shit, I ask for the help. I will call my mum, I will go to Tom, I will do what I need to do and get the help. I've had some of my best friends take him out my arms and rock him to sleep at a time like when he was absolutely losing it, and I was literally like, I was having a breakdown, but I couldn't do anything because he needed to go to sleep in the early days. And she just came and she just took him and rocked him to sleep, and I was just there, and I was able to be so honest, like break down in front of them both, and there was no judgment. But if that was the first time, I would have been like I would have felt so attacked by what they were doing. Whereas now I can ask for that help. So that's what I try and do to help manage it, basically.
So asking for help, being able to recognise, okay,
this is happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you put your earplugs in, you take yourself out of the space, as and where you can. Yeah. When it comes to things which trigger us, you've already said through hypnotherapy, you were able to uncover something underlying as a reason why. When it comes to us being triggered by something, this may help, this may not help, but sometimes when we tell ourselves and speak to ourselves, like, you're okay, you're feeling like this because of all of these reasons. These are all the things that you're fearful of. You're safe. Blake is safe. You're going to get through this. And those kind of regulations, self-regulations, can bring yourself back down again. But Aimee, you've been through it. Yeah. You really have.
Yeah, I have. It's been hard.
So you got a sleep consultant involved with Robin.
Yeah.
Which helped you. How did you then find yourself on a journey to wanting to help other people?
It was really organic. So I, as I said, I just sort of fell in love with the topic of sleep. So I ended up just naturally helping people throughout the. I literally have a friend have a baby and then sort of how to speak to Aimee. She knows how to get your baby to sleep. So then I would literally have like calls with people. Tom would take the piss out of me, but like, you got another client on the phone. Like I would just constantly be on my phone, like helping people. And it's like a real urge. Like I want to check in on new moms, make sure they're okay, and if I can see someone's having a shit time, it's just like I know I get it. I've been there.
You've been there. You've lived it.
Yeah. So that was that. But then I reached out to a really well-known sleep consultant in 2021 and asked where she studied, and she just shut me down, didn't give me an answer. But at that time, that was clearly enough to knock my confidence because I didn't go for it, and I was like, so I stepped back. And I just thought, but that sort of fed into the belief I had that why would anyone believe me? Like I'm not like a maternity nurse. I'm not somebody in the field of childcare or something. Why would they believe me? Like I'm a recruitment consultant. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got one kid. Why would anyone believe me? And I sort of let that happen for a long time. But do you know what it was? And I haven't even told her this. So when she listens to this is all down to you. But one of my best friends, Danielle, started a baby group. Rockabye Babies, shameless plug. Get yourself down there.
Fully booked it,
yeah,
really
it's
well,
booked.
isn't it?
She's absolutely smashing it. But Danielle, like me, is like a really anxious person. My entire friendship group we're all like anxious Annies. And I was watching her just go for something. She had this idea. She told me and my other friend about it. And we were like, go for it. That's amazing. And I really boosted her. And she did. She went for it. And I was at this baby group that she runs. And I was like, this is incredible. Like, she's done such a good job. I was so proud of her. And I was like pumped. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to fucking do it. And actually, what I haven't spoken about and what people don't know, I use the same sleep consultant with Blake.
Wow.
I went back to her. Yeah, because that was part of mine and Tom's big plan. If the wheels come off, we'll go back to her.
Here is a solution which helped us last time.
Yeah. So it was a major ego brew because I've been helping people for years with their baby sleep. But I was like, I need this help again. But actually going back to her with the new lens that I had of an experienced mum, everything else, I didn't agree with what she was telling me to do. And she didn't get me the results. And it was all like, everything in my like fibre was like, fighting against what she was doing. And I don't know, that's when I started to be like, okay, I trust myself, I'm trusting my own instincts. So it was like a perfect storm, do you know, like in a good way. Everything sort of happened and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do it. And I was really scared about what people would think about me. I was petrified about putting myself online. Still am petrified about putting myself online. And I was just like, do you know, I'm just going to go for it though. And I don't know what happened. It was a moment of madness, but I'm really glad that I steered into it. And I looked around, I've got like, look at what you're doing. And I've got like Sean, she's a PT, she's out there putting herself out there. Yeah. I've got Rich, my other best friend, he's a photographer. Yeah. I've got like people out there that I respect, and watching them put themselves out there, I don't know what happened, it just made me go like, I'm going to do it. And then so I started studying then, basically 4 months too late, because obviously I wouldn't have had to use a sleep consultant if I'd have done it myself. But I started training. I'd literally go to the garage, which is converted, go to the garage, I'd pump, I'd eat my dinner at the same time as like on these calls and studying and learning. And even throughout that whole course, I didn't believe in myself. I was like, oh, because the thing is with sleep, the more you learn, the less you know. You realise how big of a field it is.
Right.
And I don't know, it really shook me, and I didn't believe in myself at all. Like literally got to the end of the course and I was like, I'm not ready to help people. But then I did the coursework and I had to do all my assignments and I had to do everything else. And through doing it, I was like, no, I do know what I'm doing. And I really enjoyed it. And I got them done and I got a distinction, and that was really cool. I was really proud of myself for that. So yeah, that's sort of how I ended up doing it. That was like the journey to it. And I think it was just, the timing was right. And I think because I went through the same experience again with Blake, I was really vulnerable all over again, and it brought all of those feelings back of what I'd been going through and why it's so important. But because I've been so honest about it this second time around, that's where people say me too. So you say it, and it made me just realise how many people are struggling. Like everyone's struggling. and they don't need to. Like, well, it's hard. Like, there's. I'm not saying sleep equals everything's fixed, but there's so much about motherhood that you just cannot control. But we can't control sleep completely, but we can give the babies the infrastructure that they need to help them sleep and to help everybody. And I just think, I don't know about you, but I'm a much nicer person and I'm a much better version of myself when I'm rested. And I think that's where that came from. It just all came together for me, and I realised how important it was. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. So it happened like that, basically.
The example that you've given about Danielle's baby class, actually watching your friend that you know and love so well, think, I can imagine she's actually had to overcome a lot of fear to be able to do this. And then you're thinking, hang on a minute, I can do this. Like, and I bet you, Aimee, everybody around you was telling you to go for it.
Yeah. Years people have been saying it to me.
There is that dreaded word again, fear. Fear was holding you back. Fear was holding me back.
Yeah.
We've spoken about having to post online.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
So scary.
This whole flipping studio is terrifying. Every time
I stop shaking, I think.
Every time I upload an episode, it's terrifying. But fear keeps us safe because it's like, oh, caveman days. Don't go over there where that scary lion is, even though you might eat. Stay here where it's safe.
Exactly.
But what you're sharing is you managed to overcome fear bit by bit. So you did your education. Fear was still there a little bit. But then you did coursework where there is evidence to your brain. Hang on a minute, I actually do know what I'm doing here. And then that pushed you on. What was that feeling like, I don't know, when you set up that Instagram and people were resharing it? Because I reshared it. I thought, what's Aimee doing? This sounds cool.
I did put that coming soon thing. Do you know, I did that by accident as well. I didn't even mean to. So I set up the Instagram, but I can't remember what happened, but I'd set it to a business page. What did I do? I can't even remember how I did it, but it turned it to a business page. Oh, that was it. So I set it up as a business page and it just sent it out. I thought it was like a personal one.
Yeah, you can't have a private business
account. I didn't realise it went out. So I did that before I went to bed one day. I was like, oh, I'll finish that tomorrow. And then the next day I was getting all these people were adding me. And I was like, what? I was like, what's this? I was like, shit, I've got to do something. So I quickly went on Canva and made a coming soon post. Because I was like, people will be like, that's so weird that she just made this thing and not said anything. But I wasn't ready to go out yet. Like, I didn't have any marketing sorted. I literally was not there yet. I was just...
You wanted to prep it
I was prepping myself. So I really put myself out there by accident. So I did that coming soon thing. But actually, it was a really good thing that happened because the wheels were in motion then. I was like, well, I've got to do it now. I've said it and it's out there and there's a coming soon post. So that's when I got my marketing sorted. But I was working with clients then. So before I qualified and then till after I did loads of people for free. And that was a confidence booster as well because I was like, oh my God, it's working. Like, these people, like, their babies are sleeping. So that was great. So by the time I was actually like ready to go with the Instagram, I mean, it all just...
Your confidence had then been...
Building. Slowly. Yeah.
Interesting with what you're saying there. You wanted to get your Instagram all ready to go, so you felt it was perfect through fear of judgment.
Yeah.
But then your business page is live and you're thinking, shit, I now need to post through fear of judgment.
Yeah.
How mental is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
This feedback that you were getting, I've messaged you, I've told you today, 3 or 4 of my mates have had your support. You are a miracle worker.
Thank you.
Do you believe that when I say that, Aimee?
I'm trying to.
That's good. Do you know that is good?
I'm trying to. Like, it is nice, but I don't take compliments very well. I don't know what it is. I think it's just being British, isn't it? But yeah, it's nice to say thank you. I'll take it.
Do you know, that's one of the hardest things when it comes to our self-worth and our self-belief. If somebody complimented you, have a little look at compliments you would take easier than others.
Yeah.
Things that you struggle with a little bit means there may be a little voice saying, no, you're not good enough still, though. Don't really believe that out. I get it with my work. If I get a compliment from one of my clients, I'll always bat it back to the client and say, you did that. And they'll say, no, Ellie, you helped me.
But I'd say everyone say it's all your hard work.
Yeah.
I say it's every single time. They say, like, oh, you're a magician or you're this, you're that. I say, no, it's all your hard work.
You did it. Back on them, don't it?
It's all your work. Yeah. But they did do the hard work. But I did help them. It's hard, though. It's just hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
it is.
nip that. Yeah.
But the evidence is growing. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You are actively supporting people
Mhm.
with some of the most difficult times in their life. Like
Yeah.
you've even said and shared with your journey, this was impacting your mental health big time.
Mhm.
So for somebody else, some of my friends have been going through it.
Yeah.
You've helped them and they're literally like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I can live again.
Mm-hmm.
So with the work that you're doing,
Mhm.
with the clients that you're supporting, how does that feel for you, knowing that you're helping people?
It feels really good because I know where they are and I know how that feels. Maybe they're not in the same place that I was in exactly, or maybe they are, but I know that it's more than just sleep. They feel like they failed. They feel like everyone's better at this than them. They feel alone. They feel like they're the only person that's awake at 3 a.m. They feel just shit, and they're struggling to keep their head above water. So I know what it feels like then to flip that and then have your baby sleep and then be like, oh, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
So it was really important for me to get the sleep to then turn my mental health around, basically. So I know how big it is for them. So that feels really good to know that I'm there. And also, what I didn't get from my sleep consultant, again, not to knock her, but she was quite brutal, like quite militant. So there was no like hand holding, basically.
Right.
Whereas I'm very different with mine. Like they get regular pep talks. Like I'm there. I'm on the journey with them. Like I'm so there with them. Like every win, every shit night, anything that doesn't quite go right. Like I am like on it with them, and I care so much. So I'm like their little cheerleader, basically, just like boosting them up because you need that confidence. Like I want to give them the skills to feel confident to do it themselves, not to have to need me after I've gone, if you know what I mean.
Wow. Okay.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, so it's like long-term value, essentially, not necessarily like as a sales pitch, but like the best feedback I get is when someone says, like I had someone the other day, she said, I put on my stories, but she said, I'm getting so much better at reading whether he's overtired or undertired, and I just take him out of the cot and try again later. I just thought I love that so much because I wouldn't have done that after my sleep consulting with Robin. I would have been like, no, I'd have fought her and didn't control crying for however long.
Because
That's what I was told.
to do.
Because this sleep consultant has fixed routines that every baby has to fall into. But now I know that that's just not the case. Like a baby can only have so much sleep within a 24-hour period. So I was probably trying to force her to sleep at times where she wasn't tired, or vice versa. Maybe I'd stretched it too long because I thought that what was on that paper was more important than my instincts or more important than anything else. So that's the gift I'm trying to give these mums, is that I want them to have the tools to do it themselves, because sleep isn't linear. So whilst I might help them with whatever problem they're in at the minute, I want them to understand the why. I want them to know why they're doing what they're doing, because it's easier to commit to something that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And consistency is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important thing when it comes to baby sleep. But sleep changes, basically. I've lost my train of thought.
But they're growing up. They're growing as well, aren't
It
they?
all changed. Their sleep needs to change over time. So I don't want them to have to then pay me for a package every single time their baby go through something else or something else or something. I want them to be able to be like, right, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's try it, like, and they know the why, they know the reason behind it, basically. So that's really important for me as well.
One of the key things that you shared about your approach is how much you care. You've been through it yourself. You've seen the impact that it's had on you, your mental health, your relationship, you with your friends, just your life in general. And this isn't just a sort of, oh, yeah, right, okay, I'll go into this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give somebody a textbook of this is what's going to help you for now. What you're sharing with me here is these are the tools which may impact how your baby is not sleeping at the moment. But this one may be what the baby's needing now. But I'm going to give you all of them because in the future, I don't want you to have to ring me and work with me again.
Basically.
That's compassion, Aimee.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, so last question. And I ask all of my guests this. What advice would you give to somebody who is experiencing the same things that you were going through?
Just talk about it. Be honest. As I said, you will get a Me Too, and you will be so surprised by how many people are in it. I have a story a little bit about this, of where it actually worked for me with Robin, with that. And I was at a baby group with a very good friend now, but at the time we just sort of knew of each other. So you're doing that awkward, like, smiling across a room thing. And then one day we were in a lift, and it was just us. So I had to say something, but she said, "It's Aimee, isn't it?" And I played it really cool and went, "Oh, I didn't think you knew who I was." And like, it was well embarrassing. But she said then, she went, "Oh, how are you finding it?" And I must have had a bad day or a bad night. And I just went, "It's fucking awful, isn't it?" And then I couldn't believe I'd said it. I was like, I couldn't believe I'd like let the mask slip. And she just sort of looked at me and was like, yeah. And then didn't really like give me anything, but it wasn't like a judgment thing. And then later that day, I got an Instagram friend request from her, or like follow thing. And then she sent me this big message to say, "I'm in it too. Like, I've been there." Her little girl was 3 months older than mine, but she'd been through this. She could just see it. She said, "I could see it in your eyes. You're exactly where I was." And she was really there for me. And that was massive. I really needed that, because then that was a safe space. So the reason for sharing that basically is, moms go to baby groups or they go for coffees, they do this. Just tell someone how you're feeling, because they're probably feeling it too. Maybe not in the same intensity as I said earlier, but to a degree, they're feeling it. So talk to people about it. And if you get somebody that doesn't understand, talk to somebody else. Like, just don't shut yourself down. Yeah. Like, just talk about it, basically. That's one thing. And another bit is just like practical advice. And I didn't do this with Robin. As I said, mums put themselves last. But what I would say is, if you have a physical need, like for me, that might have been going to the toilet. It might have been eating, pumping, showering, anything like that. If you've got one of those needs, but the laundry needs doing or something else needs doing, or there's quite literally any other thing that needs doing, it comes after that need. Ooh. You've got to do it, because I'm a better mom when I'm rested, when I'm fed, when I'm showered, and all of those things, because I can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I need to do, and that makes me feel better. So just don't put yourself. You will put yourself last. Every mom does it. So I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but just mitigate it where you can. Like, if you're hungry, eat. Like, if you need a drink, have a drink. Like, you will show up better if you've done those things that you need to do. And the same goes for giving yourself a break as well. Like, taking a break if you need it. I say I'm a better mom when I've had a break. I'm a better mom when I've had some time to myself. So yeah, that's a thing. And also, another bit of practical advice is, don't do anything that could be done while the baby is awake, while the baby's asleep. So if the dishwasher needs loading or the laundry or something like that, do it with the baby awake. Because when that baby sleeps, which is what all of us do, you run around and do 1,000 jobs while the baby's asleep. And then the baby wakes up the second you sit down with a sandwich and a cup of tea. So it's sort of the same advice, but do that first. Like, babies don't need to be entertained every second of every day. Although we're made to believe that they are, and that's it. But like, they're happy just to be part of your world. So just put them in a sling or put them in a bouncer or whatever for 5 minutes while you put the dishes away or whatever it is that you need to do. And then that's 5 minutes you've got back on their nap. And that's 5 minutes for you. And that, it sounds little, but I did that with Blake this time around, and it did help. So
prioritising you.
Yeah, where you can.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say like every mom will put themselves last. So I'm not gonna say like don't do this, don't do that, because we all do it. I do it. It's just in our nature to do it, but just try and consciously think about yourself at times. And it's the most selfless thing you can do. But as I said, I'm a better mum when I've done X, Y, and Z, and I've communicated what it is that I need from people, or like, say if I need a break, rather than be pissed off at Tom because I haven't had that. No, just communicate it. Like, say it. Just, not everyone's a mind reader, basically. So just be really honest. That's sort of where I'm at. And my inbox is open, honestly. Like, for anybody that's struggling, like, please do just drop me a message, because you won't get judgment.
You were doing that before you even had all of your education.
Yeah. I genuinely really, really care, and I just don't want people to suffer in the way that I suffered. Like, it breaks my heart that's what I went through. So yeah,
it breaks my heart hearing what you went through. And I have so much respect for you through all of that, knowing you've been battling, still are sometimes, because you're human, but you're actively trying to help other people. You have my full respect, Aimee.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So with all of that being said, we're at the end of the podcast today.
We did it.
How are you feeling? Well done.
Less sick, thanks.
So with this, what I'll do is I'll put information about just you in the links and everything like that. And I am just so grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you.